Hey y'all, it's Tiffany Parker, and welcome to Real Deal Entrepreneurship, where we give you the real deal on what it's like to be an entrepreneur. In our last video, we talked about how to know if entrepreneurship is for you. In today's video, we're going to spend some time talking about the importance of books and the books that have shifted the way I approach business and really has shaped my entire life. So I'll start by talking a little bit about the importance of books and reading. If you do any tertiary research on successful people, you know that they read more than your average person. When people say knowledge is power, it's truly power, and it's more than that. It's a resource, it's a foundation. Throughout my life, I've found solace in books. So books are not only a roadmap, they are a way that you can solve problems that you encounter in business. They're a way for you to know what's possible for your business. They're a way for you to know if you're on track or not. And sometimes they're a way for you to just stay inspired and stay motivated. So books, there are an infinite number of them for you to choose from. But and I'm a voracious reader. I probably read 2 to 3 books a month, and actual hard copy books, but probably listen to even more audiobooks and podcasts. So today I'm just going to share a couple of books that really shifted the way I think, the way I manage my team, and the way I approach the potential for my business. So the first book, and probably the most important book in my life, I've probably read this book a dozen times. It's a small little book, so it's not a really big deal. You can probably read it in about an hour, 2 hours, but it is dense and profound, and it is a spiritual foundation really for success. And that's the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. That book is really it is so critical for new entrepreneurs, because not only are you embarking on a journey in terms of your career and you're changing your life, but it's also a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual journey. So the book does a good job of applying a spiritual approach to how you should execute business or view your business. The 2 most important laws to me personally are, number 1, the law of detachment. The law of detachment I go back to again and again and again, and it's so important for new entrepreneurs, because when you start something, you don't want to worry about the outcome because you have no idea, right? So you have to continuously regenerate that courage to start things and just let go of the outcome. So the law of detachment is that principle, and is something that's really critical for new entrepreneurs especially to really hold on to. And the second is the law of spontaneous action. I can't tell you how many times in my life just taking that spontaneous action without the deep thought, just knowing intuitively the right thing to do and just doing it without the layers of thought or analysis, and it's worked out. Almost all the big decisions in my life have come from this law of spontaneous action. So that book, I highly recommend it. If you have it, it needs to be in your bag, it needs to be on your desk, it needs to be on your bookshelf. Reading it as often as you can whenever you're lost or stuck in life, that's the book to go to. And then from there, I have a bunch of other books that I'm taking little tidbits out of it, and each one has sort of changed the way I view my business and what I think I should be doing. The second, probably most important book is here. It's Principles by Dalio. This book is a handbook for how to run a successful anything. It's how to be a successful human being. It talks about how to manage a team, how to approach your own financial well-being, how to deal with life when obstacles and challenges come your way. You name it, there is a principle in that book to apply to it. It's such a dense book. I go through it periodically when I'm stuck, and I think that's one that I recommend highly. The third book I want to introduce is the Imposter Syndrome book by Kris Kelso. This book really changed how I felt as my business was changing dramatically. As I talked about in the last video, you have to constantly be new for your business. You have to constantly become a different version of yourself. All entrepreneurs, especially when you're small and you're just getting started and you don't have a huge staff, it calls upon all parts of yourself, and some parts of yourself you may be more comfortable with than others, but you can't let anyone know. You can't let anyone know that you're not confident in your marketing or sales abilities or every aspect of product design. You have to pretend or act as if you know. And it's just a natural part of being an entrepreneur, but in doing so, we start to feel like imposters. So this book is a great tool book for entrepreneurs, and the most important part of this book is that it helps you know that you're not alone, that what you're going through, everybody in your position goes through, and you shouldn't feel guilt around it. And in fact, you should use it as a tool to build more confidence in your capabilities, because what happens with imposter syndrome is you start out not being very good at something, but then you actually become quite good at it. So knowing that that's the natural process of things as you grow and evolve, and you're tapping on all parts of yourself to be able to run a successful business. And then I'd say the fourth book is Work Energy by Jim Harmer. Work Energy is about understanding how you work best, right? As entrepreneurs, we become entrepreneurs usually because we don't work in the same way that other people do, usually because we don't want to sit behind a desk and be forced to sit in a chair for 8 hours. So Work Energy really is about understanding what motivates you, understanding what sort of environments, what time you work best, what sort of work you do that's where you're operating in your genius zone. By doing that, it really helps with the Pareto principle, that 80-20 principle, so that you can spend almost all of your time in that successful work energy zone. I love that book. It really changed the way that I ran my business. It changed the way that I managed people on my team, and it changed my approach to my expectations of others, right? Because I don't expect everyone to operate and be successful in the same sort of context. And finally, I would say any book that you can get your hand on regarding Stoicism. I'm a huge follower and believer in the principle and philosophy of Stoicism. Anything you can read on Stoicism would do you well. And Stoicism is basically just the principle that you have to have a stoic response to almost anything that happens in life. Okay, and we'll go a little bit more deeper in that in other videos. I do want to talk about Stoicism and the importance of Stoicism to entrepreneurs. I believe is fundamental to success. So those are the top 5 books and types of books I think that are critical for entrepreneurs. They've been critical for me. There are lots and lots of books that you can choose from, but you really got to understand basically that reading and acquiring more knowledge and understanding that every problem that you face, someone else has faced it before, and go to books. Go to books to help you solve these problems so that you're not alone. And that's all I have for you guys for today. In our future videos, we're going to be talking about how to manage teams, how to build teams, as I mentioned when we were talking about books and work energy, how to get people to operate in their genius zone and pulling the best out of your team to achieve your goal. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you at the next one. Thanks.